Do you look older or younger than your age? Do you receive compliments on your clothing? Story 1. Probably a 6 or 7. Nothing particularly attractive about me, but I have decent hygiene, wife-approved clothing, and I eat healthy and work out regularly. Story 2. I am a 10. If all the girls can convince themselves that they are all 10s, then we can too. Let us go, boys. Story 3. I work out and take my appearance seriously, but my height probably lowers my score according to female standards. I was not blessed with good genetics. Story 4. I used to think of myself as a solid 7, but after being single for 5 years and having literally zero success in the dating scene, I think of myself more as a 4, maybe 5 now. Story 5. I am obese, balding, dark-skinned, and live in a country where light-skinned people are considered attractive. I have full lips, speak loudly. People think I am screaming when I speak at a normal volume. I am introverted and have anxiety, irritable bowel syndrome, and short stature. I feel defeated. I also look much older than my age. I am an undergraduate, but some people call me uncle or ask where I work. My mom is the only one who calls me handsome. Story 6. 8.5 tall, muscular, and aesthetic, but my face likely causes me to lose a few points. I look younger than my age. I am 26, but most people guess I am between 20 and 22. Story 7. I'm not bad. I will also accept not too shabby or cleans up well. I used to always look younger than my age, but now I am fairly certain that most people would guess my age accurately, 55. Story 8. 7 to 8, not because I think I am that great. I am getting my six-pack back at 47 years old after losing 30 pounds, now 190 pounds. Close to 5 feet 10 or 11 inches, narrow waist, broad shoulders, and have a good head of hair. It's because most men I see aren't even trying. Severely overweight, they don't even bother to get better. Poorly dressed and kept, like they are too lazy to try. I look around and most guys look like 4s, so the scale has slid way down. Because there are so many 4s, they are now the 5s. What was a 5 is now a 6 and so forth. Body-wise, I'm in better shape than most late 20s or 30-year-olds I see. It's probably because I don't play video games. Story 9. I have been told I look younger, but I think I look my age. Apparently, I take good care of my skin. My wardrobe does get the occasional compliment if I try to dress nicely. Overall, I think I look fine. Not good enough to be like, "Oh my God, Becky," but not bad enough to call emergency services. Story 10. I would say 7. Definitely above average, but not anything too special. I often receive compliments, either about my appearance, my clothing, or my haircuts. Story 11. 3, maybe 4 on a good day. I have a ridiculous baby face that makes me look leagues younger in a bad way. I am also overweight, and while I am aware there is a desirable kind of fat, I am unfortunately very much not that. Story 12. I would say I am a 5 or 6 out of 10. I feel like I am pretty average looking. I am not exceptionally handsome, but I would not call myself unattractive either. I have been told I look rather youthful for my age. I am 27, and people think I am somewhere in my early 20s, mainly between 20 and 23. It is not too large a gap, but I will still take the compliment. I guess I have that going for me. Story 13. Probably a 7 to 8. I am not a model, but I am definitely above average looking facially. I have a good physique with a six-pack and muscles, and I am 6 feet tall. I look my age and receive compliments on my clothing quite often, although I wear the same 3 outfits regularly. However, no one on the street would notice. Story 14. I look exactly the way I like, which is probably not to the taste of others. That said, most people cannot guess I am on my way to 40 and have children. Story 15. In my 20s, I was probably a solid 8. Now, when my beard grows, I look older. When I completely shave my face, I look younger. I would rate myself 4 to 5 now. Story 16. I would say somewhere around 6 or 7. My girlfriend thinks I look handsome and my clothing is pretty decent. I do not agree on the clothing part though. I usually wear a t-shirt and a pair of jeans most of the time. I get a lot of compliments on my fitness. I am pretty active in that area. Story 17. I am bald, so I have looked middle-aged since I was 19. I look younger when my head is clean-shaven compared to when I am too lazy and still have hair growing on the sides of my head. I probably look about my age, or at least age ambiguous, when I shave my head clean. As for how attractive I am, honestly, I have no clue, but I imagine not very. I have gotten very little attention since I went bald. But then again, I don't interact much with women outside of work, so it's hard to tell. Story 18. Solid 3 out of 10, mainly because I am tall with broad shoulders and do not have anything particularly off-putting about my appearance, but I do not have anything inviting either, as I am a bit overweight, bald, and in my late 30s. Story 19. In my best days, I was a solid 3. Nowadays, maybe a solid 1. I have never received any kind of compliment for the way I look. I look much younger than I am. Story 20. What do you rate yourself in appearance? 3 out of 10, average guy. Do you look older or younger than your age? I have always looked younger. I do not drink or smoke, so I guess it is because of that. Do you get compliments for your clothing? Just the opposite. The only attention I get is from the police from time to time. Story 21. 3 to 5 out of 10 at best. I am not overweight or anything, but solidly average. I do not receive any attention, at least not that I have noticed. I have an increasing amount of gray hair that probably makes me look a bit older than I actually am. No one says anything about my clothes, positive or negative. Story 22. I would say I am a 4 or 5. Below average in face, but I am active and in decent shape. I look younger than my age. I do get compliments on my clothing from time to time. Story 23. 8 out of 10, which to me means not model level but the level of actors who are known for being good looking. I look younger than my age, and I frequently get complimented on my clothes. Story 24. I think I am confident, but realistically I would rate myself as an 8 depending on how my hair is cut. I definitely look younger than my age, though I have crow's feet appearing. I certainly look younger than many people my age, I have noticed. Story 25. 6 on an average day, 7 if I dress up. I am 41 but just started showing my age. Most people guess I am in my late 20s. I work all the time, so I am almost always in my work polo or just a t-shirt and jeans, so no, I do not get compliments for my clothing. Story 26. I am guessing 5 or 6. I probably look a lot younger than I am since I nearly always need to show identification while buying alcohol. I mostly get compliments on my style because I dress really nicely. Story 27. Right now I feel like an 8, but I know I could do better. I definitely look younger than my age and noticeably younger than my siblings. I don't think it was genetics. I have always done the basic things to maintain health. Exercise, drink water, get plenty of sleep, avoid alcohol and cigarettes, stay in the shade or wear sunscreen. I started going gray in my teens and I like it. Story 28. I am a 5, nothing extraordinary about me. I could easily be 1 in a crowd and instantly forgotten, which means I am a 5. Story 29. 8 out of 10. Tall, dark, slim, fit, clear skin, nice hair, good jawline and cheekbones. However, a large head and unattractive feet. Story 30. Difficult to say. 6 to 6.5 on a good day, I would say. I have trouble keeping the weight off. Down at 73 kilograms, maybe even a 7. At 77 kilograms, closer to a 6. Story 31. Younger than my age, I have no fashion sense and never receive any compliments unless they are trying to scam me. Like today. I would rate myself a 3, maybe a 2, only because I know men who are way more unattractive than me. Story 32. About a 4 or 5. I have enough self-respect to not rate myself any lower and the awareness that I am not attractive. I am often mistaken for being a teenager or younger than I look if I shave my mustache and beard. I believe I know how to dress myself. I feel but do not look like a 7 or 8 if I dress nicely. Story 33. I cannot give a rating, but I do not look my age. I look much younger and have a more alternative style. I really like my hair, and I have a pretty face. However, I am not satisfied with my body. I am also very sedentary and need to take care of it again. Story 34. Depends. In pure appearance, 7 on a good day, 3 lately. However, considering intelligence, creativity, humor, and being a good father and provider, it might be different. Story 35. I would rate myself an 8 out of 10. Realistically, I have never had trouble connecting with a woman. I am aware that I am attractive, as I am often approached. I am fairly muscular but still have some excess weight around my stomach and a few facial scars due to psoriasis. Overall, I have good looks. If I lose the stomach fat and improve a couple of facial issues, I would say 9 out of 10. Story 36. 4 out of 10, I suppose. I could be at least an 8 if I tried. Nothing is stopping me but my own habits. I just need to lose weight and shave, to be honest. Maybe change the haircut I've had for 16 years since I was 10. In terms of genetics, I didn't quite win the jackpot, but not too far off either. I know I'm very lucky. I'm tall, broad, naturally strong, blonde, with green eyes. I don't have any physical problems. I even have perfect teeth, not quite perfect, but I've never had a filling or any work done. My teeth are as naturally straight and intact as they come. If I took the time to fully lose the weight I've gained since school, shave, really cleanse my face to remove all blackheads, get the mole on the side of my nose removed, and buy some nice clothes so I don't look like a medieval peasant, I could be handsome if I wanted. I have good muscle definition in my arms and legs since I'm a working man, with the farmer's tan to go along with it. But I need to do more cardio for the beer belly. Story 37. I am 48 years old and weigh about 130 pounds. I cannot gain weight even if I try. No woman likes a lightweight. Story 38. I genuinely have no idea. I cannot tell if other men are handsome or not. I cannot tell if I am handsome or not. I am never in situations where flirting could happen, so I cannot judge based on women's reactions. I know I used to be good looking when I was still dating, but that definitely does not mean that I still am. I might be an unattractive older man. The good news is that I do not think it matters. I am not planning on dating, so what good would being handsome do me? Story 39. I am 43, but people think I am in my late 20s or early 30s. Good genetics, my mom is in her 60s, and people think she is my sister. Looks-wise, it depends on what you like. I am short, but nobody looks quite like me due to my mix. I have always had extremely attractive girlfriends, so maybe a 6 or 7 combined with my personality. Before I got my nose fixed, I would have said a 4. Getting my nose fixed gave me all the confidence I needed. Story 40. A 7 on a good day when I look well put together, but when I wake up, I look terrible, which brings me down to a 3. Story 41. I would rate myself as a 4. Chat generative pre-trained transformer said I was around a 7 to 8. I asked it to generate some looks matches and rate those. It generally responded with ratings between 7 and 9. I would say they were fair assessments, and other people reporting their results gave ratings I also consider fair. On paper, I guess I agree with it. My mind does not, though. It does not really matter if you do not get real, on-the-ground feedback from actual women showing interest, and you do not really have any chance of that if you live in a place like I do where all the women are married. I would be lying if the artificial intelligence responses were not a confidence booster, honestly. Still, that does not erase the mental rating of a 4. I would probably need to see actual interest to change that view. I receive compliments on clothing from both men and women. Basic comments like, "I like your tie" or "nice shirt." I figure I look a year or 2 younger than my actual age. Story 42. 6.5. Slightly above average. My style tends to be better than my face and others. However, I receive a decent number of mustache compliments. Story 43. Probably a 7. I get told I am good looking, but I know I do not even come close to a 10. I am also a harsh grader. I do not think I particularly stand out in a crowd of men. Story 44. On my absolute best day, I think I am a decent 5. On an average day, more like a 3. I guess I come across as still a bit youthful despite now being in my late 40s. When I started my current job in 2021, I was 42 but was regularly mistaken by coworkers for being in their early to mid-20s. Even recently, a newer coworker guessed my age as 25 or 26 and was shocked that I am actually 46. So I guess I have that going for me, although I would happily trade it for having an actually handsome appearance. Story 45. I am really short, so I look young, but my face looks old. I only received compliments on my sneakers, and it was my old ones I wore for work once. Other than that, I never get clothing compliments, though sometimes I receive judgment because of it. Story 46. I look younger than my age, but not as much as before. The only compliment on my clothing in recent years is when I wore my Charlie Brown zigzag shirt. I am maybe a 6 out of 10 in looks on a good day, but if you include personality, charisma, and morals, I am a solid 2. Story 47. Honestly, 9 out of 10. I am 6 feet 5 inches tall, weigh 225 pounds of muscle, and have a beautiful smile. My nose is a little unusual but cannot be perfect. Story 48. 5 out of 10, average face, average height, but on the lower end of that average due to low income affecting some health issues, including facial and body acne, faster aging skin, moderately yellow and sometimes slightly blackened teeth, receded gums, tired eyes, and borderline overweight to obese. I am a non-smoker and do my best to practice skincare, dental hygiene, eat healthily, exercise, and maintain good overall health. I dress well in new, clean, well-fitted clothing in my personal fashionable style, which helps me stand out and occasionally earn compliments. At 26, I likely look a little older than others my age or those with unhealthy lifestyle habits and a culturally rare fashion style, while maintaining a politely curious neutral expression. Story 49. I don't know how I would rate myself, but many of my colleagues tell me I look young for my age. I am 35, but they say I appear as if I am in my early to mid-20s. It helps that I follow a skincare regimen and that I am in shape. Frustratingly, this has not translated to much success on dating apps over the years. Story 50. Personally, 4, but others have said 7 to 7.5. Either way, I know people are not looking my way, so it does not matter. Story 51. I get a lot of people saying I look 5 to 10 years younger than my age. I am almost always in my work clothes, so I do not receive clothing compliments. I would rate myself as average, but I am very okay with it. Story 52. Looks are subjective. To plenty of people, I am an 8, but to others, I could be a 2. I definitely feel like I am an 8, though. I think I am pretty. Story 53. I'd say I'm probably around a 6 to 7. I've been told I was attractive, hot, cute, whatever, by some girls, but I didn't find them attractive. I also don't get too many likes on dating apps. I could probably boost myself up to an 8 if I went to the gym more and ate healthier and less. Story 54. At best, a 7 a few years ago. Got married. Had a child. Drank through the coronavirus years. Recently joined a gym and is dropping some weight. There was a 4-week period in 2002 where I was a 9. At my peak, the glory month. Story 55. I told some friends I was a solid 6 on a good day, and one of them immediately blurted out, "No, you are not." I choose to believe she meant higher. Story 56. I would give myself a 6. I look decent for my age, and I get compliments anytime I get a haircut. I receive compliments if I trim my beard, and compared to people my age, I still have all of my teeth because I do not smoke or use drugs. So I think I am doing quite okay. Story 57. If I changed even the slightest bit, I would like it at first, but it would not be me and then I would not like it. So I am going with 10. Story 58. Good enough. I look great when I want to, but I look alright most of the time. It depends on my mood and hair, to be honest. A fresh cut and a fresh outfit. I am turning heads when I want to. Story 59. I am good enough that people do not visibly recoil at my appearance, but not good enough to receive compliments outside of close family and friends trying to make me feel better. Story 60. I have appeared to look much older than I was during my 20s. People often said I looked like I was in my 30s. I am 44 now, and I have heard a few comments recently suggesting I look like I am in my 30s, with surprise when I tell them I am 44. That said, I know I do not look like I did in my 20s or 30s. Story 61. Some say I look younger and more confident in my fashion sense, so 10 out of 8 because my standards are high. Haha. Story 62. I am 42 years old. I look about 28, even with my scraggly beard that has gray bits in it. If I shave it all off, I might look 23. I guess I am a 3 out of 10. Story 63. I started going gray in my late teens, fully gray by age 22. At my best, I am an 8.5 or 9. Trimmed, fresh hair, styled, dressing to go out. At my average, 7.5 or 8. Keeping my hair done, wearing my daily clothes, etc. At my worst, like a 5. Drank too much on the weekend, haven't had a haircut in a while, ate 6 cheeseburgers while drunk, and now I feel sweaty and bloated. I went out on dates, but does that really count? Story 64. 10 out of 10, absolutely flawless. My problem is with social skills. I always get complimented on my style. No one believes I am over 30. Most guess mid-20s. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.